Non-commission's better. Because non-commission work for a living. Commission, they don't work and they don't work much. So hello. Just checking, see if I've got any sounds on. Everything's on. Got the pinned comment. I remembered and I figured out how to do that. My poor Robin Williams is still falling down. But got my Air Force flag. Alright, I am all set. Got my Aries right here. Can't see, but yeah, you right, Timo. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate it. Today has been a crazy day. I talked to, if you look at the thumbnail, I actually messaged or tweeted direct message to Buck Angel to see if it would be okay to do what I'm going to do tonight and react to the video that Blaire and Buck put out. Well, it was Blaire put it out. Blaire White put it out. But Buck and Blaire are on there, and the discussion was everything, pretty much. Raz, that's awesome to see. There are no warrant officers comics. That's the Army. Sorry. Yeah, see, I told you comics. Look, DK said, don't call me sir, whatever you do. So everybody's non-com. Everybody's non-com, except me. But anyway, I'm moving to Florida. Probably September, maybe, I don't know. But I'm eventually, this year, I'm going to be moving to Florida. Hopefully. Dang it. Oh, this thing is so wiggly. Oh. Hey. Oh, and I apologize ahead of time for Miss Barks a lot. Hey, what'd I tell you? No barks. So I just show her this. I don't want to put it on her because she gets so scared. She got so scared the last time I had it on her that her eyes crossed and rolled in her head. She got that scared, so just going to leave it. I mean, it's only on vibrate, but she's a scaredy cat, so. You right, Cal? There's something going on with the school across the street. Okay, I thought it was upside down. All right. Stop playing with my stuff. Just leave it. Just leave it. Damn it. Okay, done. Yeah, I'm eventually moving. Raz, that's very good news. And Shannon, happy birthday to your son. That is awesome. What's his name? Did I miss it? So I saw somebody say happy birthday. Oh, yeah, Queenie said it. Ow. I'm very sore. That's a good choice, Raz. It's a good choice. Finding it on here was a little weird, but cool. Oh, wow. Comics, and now he won't shut up. You're terrible. Well, happy birthday to Chris, Shannon. Happy birthday to Chris. Many more. You stop barking. Okay? No barks tonight. All right, so tonight's live is a little different. Y'all have been here, and you know how I feel about the trans stupidity that the mainstream media and all of the whack jobs out here nowadays are doing, like putting the kids and getting the kids in on it and all of that other nah. Y'all have been here for those. I watched this video and I was reassured. I felt a lot better. I mean, what they're doing now is still wrong. It's still stupid. People so stupid. Thank you, Tom McDonald. People need to get their heads out of their asses and get back to keeping their noses in their own business. Go to work to make money, not to force everybody to bow to your will. All that good stuff. Gothic's had an awesome one today, too. Hers was awesome. I loved it. But Decepticons comics. This video is a good video. There might be a lot to unpack there might be, but there might not be, but there are some points in there that I'm going to want to just leave it. Stop messing with it. Okay. I feel weird because I lost my cross. I don't know where it went, but hey, Raz, that's what the left wing is trying to do now. I'm going to be on the West Coast, so I am going to be closer to you. And that's awesome, Queenie. I don't think I told you. I lived in Louisiana for a year and a half. Shreveport at Barksdale Air Force Base. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and get into this because it's just something that, that's so freaky. It's just something that we need to get into this because I thought about it. This gave me a lot of thinking. That's awesome, Raz. It's cool to know. Yeah, Topper. I used to live in New England, too. Military. I've been all over the friggin' place. But anyway, I think that this is going to... Y'all are going to... I hope this opens y'all's eyes like it did to me. And the fact that what they're all doing now is not how... I'm talking to the chat again. Sorry. What they're doing now in mainstream, May 2020, what they're doing now is not how the real trans community feels.
To young people who have everything in front of them right now, and
I need to restart.
It will actually make me cry right now because I just cannot believe that the world is letting this happen to young people who have everything in front of them right now, and they won't have it because now they're going to be turned onto, oh my God, now I'm carved up. I can't have babies. I can't have sex. And I'm just like, oh my God. Please wake up out there. Please. You have to hear what we're saying. We will be so screwed up. Our whole space, the trans world will be screwed up from this.
It's got to be a wrap on the trans.
It is. It's going to. That's right.
Hi, Mel.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is the longest time coming.
People are in shock.
Awesome.
Yeah, people are pooping.
I think I mentioned it earlier. I actually sent him a message. I try to get permission from people before I do stuff like this, but I didn't have a way to get in contact with Blaire, so I contacted Buck, and Buck sent me a message back and said he's sure that Blaire would be cool with it too, because that's what they expected from this. So let's get into this.
That's right.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is the longest time coming.
People are in shock.
Yeah, people are pooping themselves. People are smashing their computer screens.
Here it comes.
People are jacking off. Have you seen, look, there's so many memes with you and I people make.
Oh, totally.
Like about the trans thing. So this is Buck Angel. I feel like I'm gotta introduce. You're Buck Angel. You are you are an icon.
Well, so are you. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Meeting of the icons.
That's right.
And you are probably the most famous trans man in the world. I mean, let's be honest. There's more mainstream.
There's a mainstream trans. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm the oldest trans man in the world, really. Does that make me the most well-known? Well, only because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that really means.
Comics.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you have paved the way for the community and for the current,
thank you.
Conversation about trans people to exist. And I think we kind of both agreed the conversation has become so skewed in the recent years. And we see eye to eye on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we do. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here, friend.
Yeah.
Because I always have appreciated your voice, and I've always appreciated how really straightforward of a person you are. Not a trans person, not whatever, just a person who really took the space that you have created for yourself to put honesty into the world. Because what you do is actually create honesty. And I think people are tired of hearing lies on some level from our own community.
Right.
And so really, I think you stepped up to the plate.
So now, this is that comment that he said right there. That is where my ears perked, and I was like, wait, what'd he say? Huh.
And really, that's why I sit here. It's why I sit here with you, because I respect you. I feel like I'm very connected to you, and I'm in alignment with you, which I'm not in alignment with a lot of people in this community anymore.
Same.
It's sad for me, because I love community, and I think community is important, but I don't know if we really even have a trans community anymore.
Yeah, I go back and forth between considering myself a part of the community, because there are times where, I do have other trans friends, and, when I'm hanging out with them, sometimes I'm like, oh man, this is a community, like we're having fun, we're like whatever. And then other times, you go online and the discourse is so just antithetical towards real life. Like it contradicts so much of what it is to be a real trans person, exist in the world, and be trans. It's like
So this right here, once I heard all of this at the beginning, this is not what I thought this video was going to be, but I have been following Blaire White since I saw her in the Tom McDonald video. Snowflakes, wicked awesome. So I've been following her since then. Follow her on Twitter and stuff, and on YouTube. And this answered so much for me, because I thought that all trans was like this. I thought all with trans was like this. I thought everybody, the whole thing was, let's get the kids. No, that's the wackadoodles. What we're watching, this is what the real trans community, the common sense people that don't have freaking... This is how it is for the real trans people. Now, I know trans is short for transsexual. We already know that. If you've seen, hey buddy, if you've seen Rocky Mountain, I live in the Rocky Mountain, so it kind of came a Rocky Horror Picture Show. Love that. There you go. So let's watch this, because this video was invaluable to me. I learned quite a bit, and it cleared up quite a bit.
Online, and the discourse is so just antithetical towards real life. Like it contradicts so much of what it is to be a real trans person, exist in the world, and be trans. It's like we're supposed to be so freaked out about bathrooms, we're supposed to be so freaked out about pronouns and all this stuff that doesn't make its way into my daily life at all.
Right.
But yet it's the biggest discourse, That's
right. That's right.
And one of the things, and I brought you here because I feel like pronouns and bathrooms are one thing. The most pressing issue, and first of all, we have something else coming. We're going to film after this. It's going to be possibly even better. Actually, yes, even better. This is the warm up. I feel like if I'm talking to you about something we're filming later, they're going to think it's something very different.
It's just so great to be with you. And
I know. The most pressing issue, I feel, is the kid thing.
Yep. We're definitely in alignment on that.
The bathrooms are one thing. The pronouns are one thing. We can talk about whatever. There are kids getting really messed up by the direction this ideology is going. Physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Yep.
So you
see this. these two people are saying what I said way back when they're saying it a little bit nicer. I was a little bit more, I guess, angry sounding. I don't like it when I see kids being manipulated in any way, shape, or form. So, with watching this video, I'm telling you guys, this video is a good video. I'm so glad Blaire put this out. I really am. And thank you, Buck Angel, and thank you, Blaire White, for putting this out there.
This ideology going, physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Yep.
So we are both in agreement, and we can get into the specifics, but we're both in agreement that transitioning is not something for kids.
100% in agreement on that, and we can see it. You know, there's always exceptions to any rule. I believe that there are some kids that might benefit from this, but on a whole, if we look at it, what's happening today, I disagree with everything that's happening. I disagree with the we have been started calling it fast tracking, of pushing these kids, like, if you're going to die if you don't transition. That's all complete, total nonsense. And it's actually, on some level, well, it's lying, first off, number one. Number two, it's putting parents in a very, very, very vulnerable space. I'm a parent, so, you know, I don't think it's fair to parents. Not just the kids, but it's also not fair to the parent.
See, that is a point of view, too, that I didn't even think of. What about the parents? Because the parents are all, hey, Di, no problem, Di. I heard a buck from watching Blaire's video, because I follow Blaire on Twitter and YouTube and stuff. Parents want to do things to help their kids. Their kids hurt, they want to fix it. This is his point of view. What he puts out here is it's priceless.
I don't think it's fair to parents. Not just the kids, but it's also not fair to the parents. And we're not putting the actual real information out there. So parents don't have anywhere to go. If a doctor's telling you your kid's going to kill themselves, any parent.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to change my kid.
Right.
100% I am.
And I feel like they present these parents and the kids, you know, on a secondhand level with this false dichotomy of you're either dead or you're trans. So
That's right.
They say things like, would you rather have a dead kid or a trans kid? As if those are the only two options, and you have to transition, then, you know, my life's basically over. And they're literally creating a self-fulfilling prophecy.
That's the way things are with this mainstream BS that's going on. May 2022. I'm just so glad that they put this video out here, and I am so glad that I watched it, because it's totally cleared so much up for me, so much. And wait till I might go back and do the video that Blaire did on the trans and women's sports. That was awesome.
Then, you know, my life's basically over, and they're literally creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of these kids taking their lives.
Yes, comics.
And there's so much damage to be done to these kids through the medications. We talked about Lupron. So people don't know this, but Lupron, aka puberty blockers, or, you know, leftists try to sort of like, you know, make the terms very vague. So they say affirming care, they say trans health care. Okay, we're going to get specific here. Lupron is the drug that is known as puberty blockers. They give it to children at 11 or 12 to block puberty. Right. And this is also the drug that's given to pedophiles in prison to sterilize and chemically castrate.
That's right.
I did not know that. That right there, that was mind-blowing. Can you guys believe that? That they're giving children the same thing that they give to pedophiles to chemically castrate them. What? How? Why? Where are people's brains? Is it that prevalent that people just want to virtue signal and the parents make themselves look so great that they mess their kids up so bad by doing this? Lupron. Now you guys see why I was like, mind blown. Now you know why. they are using, Lupron is used to chemically castrate frigging pedophiles. And they're giving it to kids. On what planet is this right? No planet.
So the drug that's given to pedophiles in prison to sterilize and chemically castrate.
That's right.
People don't know this.
No, they don't know. I've been doing a lot of research on Lupron because, look, I want kids to be happy. I want kids to move forward in the world. But when you start to do the research on this puberty blocker, holy crap, I can't even believe what it is. And how, if people actually saw the real truth in this actual drug, there's no way anyone would be okay with giving that to their child. The long-term effects. Do you know that they did studies on this in Finland and in Sweden for 20 plus years, and they've shut it down?
Yeah, in
they
Europe,
have shut it down.
In a lot of countries in Europe, they're actually rescinding
That's
the
right.
guidelines that children to be given puberty blockers because it's having negative ramifications. And
Now, I want to roll this back a little bit. Because I had a thought in my head, but then I glanced at the chat and got derailed. So
for 20 plus years, and they've shut it down.
Yeah, in
they
Europe,
have shut it down.
In a lot of countries in Europe, they're actually rescinding
That's
the
right.
guidelines that children to be given puberty blockers because it's having negative ramifications. And,
That's right.
And these kids are very much guinea pigs in the sense that, you know, we don't know what's going to happen to kids who do not go through a natural puberty transition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then again, like you said earlier, two things can be true at once. I do know people that have transitioned at a very young age, 12 or 13, and they're adults now and they're happy because it is a rolling of the dice every time.
That's right.
And there's just so much, I don't even know where to start. The definition of trans has been expanded so much
Yep.
that more and more people are obviously are thinking that they meet the definition, going seeking the care.
Really comics.
And then of course there's going to be the explosion of
Agreed.
trans
Sounds
people.
right.
And then you have the fact that not traditionally, but historically, it's been gender dysphoria is something that afflicted really young boys. It's flipped now.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's actually weird. So where did that come from all of a sudden? Where all of a sudden are these young girls realizing TikTok?
this right here, this is what I've been saying. And because I'm not able to, because I'm sorry, I'm getting loud and stuff too. I hope I'm not blowing y'all up. That I've been saying this, and why is it? Weird. I've been saying this, but because A, I'm not trans, B, that immediately, even though everything that I have said is scientific. Now, granted, science, there is no fact in science. Don't forget that. Everything is a hypothesis. It's the remnant, or not remnants, but see, this is why I watch stuff like this, and this is why I react to it. Because they say what I can't because it's up here and it doesn't come out my mouth. It's just mind-blowing. This mind-blowing. Just saying.
It's flipped now.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's actually weird. So where did that come from all of a sudden? Where all of a sudden are these young girls realizing TikTok? Just look at TikTok. That's how we are actually losing ground. It's TikTok. The fact that all these kids
It sounds
are
so petty, but it's real.
Oh,
Now, I think when he says we're losing ground, I think he's talking about their community, the real trans community, not this make-believe bullshit that everybody's put up and doing now. I'm pretty sure that's what he meant by that. I'll message him and ask him, but I'm pretty sure that that's what he meant by that. Because I can't... Now, Raz, I saw you say something about community and where is it? Oh, you hate the idea of, oh no, that's the teachers confusing the boys. Where is it? Well, you said something about community and how why is it a community? Because everybody, oh, you're the same sex as me, so we're the same. No. See, that's not the way the real community is. That's not a thing. The people that make it a thing, these two people right here are just going on with their lives. They're just living their lives. They're not like, oh, I'm trans. Look at me. Like, all of these other maniacs are doing. Callie, don't start. Don't start. We don't need comic relief right now, okay? Anyway, this is... This blew my mind, y'all, I'm telling you. It was eye-opening for me because the biggest thing is I realized that not all trans believe this. They just want to live their life how they are, and they're not pushing it in anybody else's face. The real people aren't.
Are actually losing ground. It's TikTok. The fact that all these kids
It sounds
are on,
so petty, but it's real.
Oh no, it's not petty. Go on there. Anyone who disbelieves or want, just go on there and search any of these situations. You see young kids running around. I've seen 13, 14-year-old kids with chest surgery going, woohoo, we're so like what? Who does that? This has always been a private space. I think for yourself as well. Transitioning is a very private space. And to be jumping around about your surgeries or these things seems very indoctrinating to me.
See? What he just said, this is why it blew my mind. I honestly did not know that they thought like this. That real trans thought like this. Not the, like she said, indoctrinating. The indoctrination that they're doing is what they're doing. That stuff, I thought they were all like that. I thought everybody was good with indoctrinating the kids. I am so glad I was wrong. So glad. You don't know how glad I am that I was wrong.
Jumping around about your surgeries or these things seems very indoctrinating to me. Yes. It's like, look what I got. Yay, yay, yay. You want to have it too. That is actually, you can just see it on TikTok. That's all I'm going to say. Just watch it.
Well, because a lot of these surgeons are branding themselves. They're becoming little influencers on TikTok and on Instagram, other platforms, but mostly TikTok. And they're becoming like trans kid surgeon influencers.
Oh my God, I can't tell. How is that even ethical?
It's very unethical because even if we were to set aside all the negative ramifications of transitioning so young, even if it were a thing that was okay, you're clearly branding the surgery and you're branding it to kids.
That's right.
So this is something I said way back, that kids are just going to do what they think is the cool thing, the in thing to do now. And look at what the media is doing, shoving it down everybody's throats that, oh, trans this, they put all the attention on it. A kid wants attention, they're going to do the cool thing, the thing that gets them attention. A lot of times. I'm just generally speaking, but a lot of times. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I wanted a Raiders pullover coat. And I got one, but I had to save up for it. But thing is it's stuff like that. It's like the rappers, going back to Tom McDonald, how he was saying, it's because of the rappers, this whole gangsta mindset. Brandon Tatum said that, and I wish I could bring the video up. I'm just going to paraphrase, and I'm not even really good at that anymore, but he said that the black community is not that. They took that gangsta bull crap. They took that from somewhere else and made it theirs. So this gangsta crap and all of this talk and this weird talking and whatever. Now this is Brandon Tatum that I watched that he said this. I'm almost 100% sure that it was Brandon Tatum. If it wasn't him, it was the black conservative. But it's just, I can't. That Callie, shush. It's just Frank. Stop. There's a little freaking wiener dog over there barking at nothing constantly, and she has to freaking answer. Who knows what he's saying? You're clearly branding the surgery. And you're branding it to kids.
That's right.
So it just becomes such a conflict. It's not ethical.
It's not.
And for me, the conversation, and this is why I get frustrated with people on the right, because, I mean, let's be real, the people that push back on this are people on the right, and they're doing it rightfully so.
That's right.
But they don't do it in the right way. They don't talk about sterilization. To me, the conversation ends at, do you believe children can consent to sterilizing themselves by 12 or 13?
Now, that's not me. And that's not a lot of the people that I know. But the main mindset that Blaire just mentioned is, she's right. A lot of people are just focusing on the whole. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are focusing on the fact that men are going to be women now, and that they're basically taking everything from women, sports and all this other crap, who was it? That, what's his nuts? Don't. I knew it. Oh, don't you start too. You shush. You being a good girl over there. Baby's sleeping over there behind, so it won't come right into the mic. But okay, sidetrack. Hey. Not while I'm on, Callie, She just talked back. I swear that was perfect timing.
Children can consent to sterilizing themselves by 12 or 13. Do you believe a child can decide they don't want to have kids for the rest of their life? Everything else I feel like is just an added argument. That can be it right there, but no one talks about that.
Well, that's because the right, or her, whatever you want to call them, the people who are really pushing against us, and us too, are using all of those things to push against, and not understanding there's no nuance, right? That's the key word in a lot of what's happening today. There is no discussion. There's a middle ground to a lot of this. There are kids who have dysphoria. I don't like to call them trans kids. I call them kids with dysphoria.
Because there are people with dysphoria that are not trans.
There you go. And so once you start labeling,
that right there, huge light bulb. Oh my gosh. Didn't even know that was a thing. Didn't even know. I thought that, this was just, wow. I hope that you guys are seeing how I saw how eye-opening this was. And the fact that Buck said he doesn't call them trans kids. They're kids with dysphoria. And it doesn't always stay. I did research. I don't remember if Buck says anything about this, but dysphoria, you get the treatment for it, or you go to counseling, or whatever it was that I read, is that it's not permanent. You're not stuck with it. If you can work through it and past it, then you work through it and past it.
Dysphoria.
Because there are people with dysphoria that are not trans.
There you go. And so once you start labeling something, you now immediately pushed it into a space, and then why do we have a huge amount of detransitioned children? 20-year-old to me is a child.
Which is not, especially tell them how old you are, because you don't look it. You don't
so for all you out there, Trampaw is 59. I'll be 60 in June.
You have such a young
I know.
energy.
I feel bad. I feel like an old, creepy old man sitting next to you.
I feel like I'm 60. I feel like I've lived such a
no, you have.
I'm oh my god, I feel old. But
you're an old soul. That's why you're so awesome. Yeah. No, you're an old soul. It's why you're so focused, so smart. You are, really. I'm not just saying that because I'm here sitting next to you. Really, I do. I appreciate you, and I think you are so powerful. And you use your platform in a way that will actually do such great things for us as trans people. People see you and hear you. I see what they say to you. And I thank you, Blaire, for being honest. That's all the world wants from us. They only want us to be honest about who we are. And when you start lying about who you are, people are going to push back on us. We're lying. We are actually lying about who we are.
Yeah. And,
that's the thing, though. They aren't lying about who they are. Buck and Blaire aren't. It's all this mainstream bullshit that's going on. They're the liars. And the media and everything. There's something else he says in here that is gonna blow y'all's mind.
We're lying. We are actually lying about who we are.
Yeah. And it's been very, we'll get back on topic, but it's been very frustrating for years, because I've been talking about this stuff for years.
I know you
like
have.
if you just look up kids transitioning or whatever on my channel, there's videos that are like 4 or 5 years old.
I know.
Since the start, I've been talking about this, and it's always been so frustrating. Feeling like I was the only one, and it has meant so much to me that you've jumped in this fight. And it also, I feel like we are so much more powerful together, twice as powerful together. And it's also important that they're getting this from the trans man perspective and the trans woman perspective, because
exactly, just saying, and just because I want to make sure I do the pausing at the right time and all of that stuff. Exactly, Raz. Exactly. They're trans, they own it, and they don't shove it down your throat. Exactly.
It's also important that they're getting this from the trans man perspective and the trans woman perspective, because we're not talking about things that we don't know about.
That's right.
We've transitioned, we've taken the medications, we've had the surgeries, we've done the thing. We know what we're talking about. So I think it just means so much that
you gave me the space, and when you gave me the space, I'm like, how could I say no to this? Because I care like you do. You care. You're not doing this to just be Blaire. You're doing this because you care, and that's why I said, like, I can feel it from your heart. I don't think you're just being an influencer and trying to make $1 billion off of that. You actually care about what's going on, and so do I. It took me a while to understand, because of the space I come from, right? I come from the adult entertainment space. I come from a space that a lot of people push against me and find it to be disgusting, and that's over here. That has nothing to do with me and you sitting here. That's my other business. And exactly, I wouldn't be here if I cared what people thought about me. But that being said, I realized that my voice can be powerful in a more political space. And this is, I consider this a political space.
Yes.
And I really feel like I wouldn't be doing a disservice not only to myself and my own transition of 30 years. I've transitioned 30 years ago, and I would be doing a disservice to the young kids today who need to see this is what it's all about. Like, look at me. I have an amazing life because I transitioned, but I didn't do it in a rush.
It's so scary to see what I perceive to be a lot of youth that are not trans.
That's right.
Getting caught up in the trans space.
Here's what I was talking about. It's the cool thing. All the kids want to do the cool thing. And Raz, I wanna agree with you on this. And Tom McDonald has a song on this too, or a line in a song. I believe it's it's in a couple of them, but it was Snowflakes, I'm pretty sure, which is the same video that Blaire was in. Is that Pride Month? So Pride Month, identify with whatever sexuality you want. Identify yourself as a freaking cat. I don't care. Don't shove it down my throat. Don't make this huge thing about it. Don't get yourself a whole month to celebrate you when veterans get one day. Memorial Day, one day. And I mean, Memorial Day itself should be at least a week, in my opinion, if not more. Memorial Day, it's just mind-blowing. So let's continue.
Of youth that are not trans.
That's right.
Getting caught up in the trans space.
I see it every day. Do you know kids write me every day? And when I say kids, I say 20, because that's a child to me.
Yeah.
Who say, oh my God, Buck, I think I made the wrong choice and I think I need to get out. I'm like, get out of it. Go and de-trans right now. You're only 4 months on hormones. Second. Do it. Stop. I encourage all of them who say that to me, because I believe that there really are, and I don't want them to get 2 years into hormones and look at me.
It does real things. It does real things to your body.
I cannot de-transition and go back to looking like a woman. I'll be the ugliest woman. I'll be working in the circus as the bearded lady. It's real. Like, let's just be real here. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, and let's also talk about detransitioners. We're not a thing.
That's right.
Even like 6 years ago when I transitioned.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
Nope.
And if they were a thing, it was like one person over here, one person over here.
Yep.
And the way I kind of even looked at them was like, oh, that's tragic, but that's super rare. I'm not even going to think about it too much. And now you have just tens of thousands of kids online. And it's like, okay, so clearly there's a problem here. And one of the things that I think the trans community suffers from is for all the talk about how conservatives and right-wing people live in the past, I think to a large extent leftists and trans people live in the past as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're still going by these old statistics about how 0.1% of trans people detransition. Okay, let's catch up to 2022, where there's Reddit groups of 20,000 plus,
Or
right?
no, 28,000 now.
Right. Let's cut up to 2022, where the safeguards to transition. We talked about this yesterday.
That's right.
We talked so much off camera. When you transitioned, which was how many
This
years
is
ago?
mind blowing.
30 years ago this month.
30 years ago,
Yeah.
and you told me about so many safeguards that there were to ensure that this was not going to be something that you regret.
That's right.
And go figure, there were not a lot of detransitioners back
That's
then.
right.
For me, flash forward to 2015 when I transitioned. Wow, years are going by.
Wow.
There was 0 safeguards.
That's right.
I walked in to a doctor's office and 20 minutes later walked out with a prescription for estrogen and testosterone blockers.
But wait, where was your mental health care?
Not, they didn't require it.
Love you too, Queenie. Back when Buck transitioned, there were checks and balances. There were safeguards. Are you sure? Are you sure? And I'm pretty sure he says on here that you had to live as the other. You had to live, if you were a female, you had to live as a man for a year before they would do the freaking surgery. Why did that stop? Why did that stop? That's common sense. Live as the opposite sex for a year and at least make it 21. If you can't drink until you're 21, even though everybody does it, not everybody, but, generally speaking, then make it 21 before you can take any of this garbage that they use to frickin' sterilize pedophiles to sterilize yourself. I mean, come on. Seriously.
A prescription for estrogen and testosterone blockers.
But wait, where was your mental health care?
Not, they didn't require it.
What?
No, same with my surgeries. They didn't.
Same with your surgeries. Well, I had to go through such, which they call gatekeeping, and I changed it to safekeeping. I really feel like it's
so good.
safekeeping.
Yes,
It is not gatekeeping because I want you to go through this. I want you to transition if that's your space. What I don't want you to do is get into a space where you're like, oh my God, I just made a huge mistake. I cut my breasts off. I got a hysterectomy. I'm 20 years old. My sex drive is null and void. Now how are you going to have a great life? So this is what I think we're not talking about. There is no rush.
Right? These guys. I say guys, hey guys, what's up? Meaning everybody. I'll try not to do that. I don't want anybody to think I'm being snippy or whatever. But what Buck and Blaire just said, what Buck just said, he said it perfectly. Said it perfectly. There's no way around it. Said it perfectly. This video itself should be on mainstream media. It should go on Netflix. It should do something. This needs to get out there because this is what common sense looks like, and this is what Buck's saying. What Buck's saying is the way things should be. Period. Stop trying to shove it down everybody's throats with all of this mainstream bullshit. Stop trying to make me part of your freaking self-image because ain't gonna happen. I was joking about it the other day, but I really think I am gonna start saying, "Hey, human." I'm not even gonna say "What's up, gal" or anything I'm not gonna do anything like that because I just want to avoid the bullshit. So I'm just gonna say, "What's up, human?"
And have a great life. So this is what I think we're not talking about. There is no rush. There actually is no rush. I didn't transition until my late 20s, right? Or 30, I think it was.
I was 20.
It's ridiculous that people are in such a rush to transition. This is a life-changing space we're talking about. We're not talking about putting on a jacket and a hat.
And so much of it is permanent. People don't
Permanent.
get it. I cannot have biological children of my own. I do not have that DNA anymore.
Nope.
So these kids transition at 12 and 13, which first of all, we were talking about this also off camera, which is so many trans adults who then go to get the surgery to go to get a vagina.
Oof.
They don't have the adequate starting point, let's just say, to create that vagina because they never actually developed
That's right.
their starting point because they've been on puberty blockers since 12.
That's right.
So even their own arguments don't even work.
No,
if the argument is these kids need to be on puberty blockers because it saves them problems later, it seems to me you're trading off problems.
But what are the problems? So the problems are what they're trying to save these kids from is looking masculine or looking feminine.
Why are looks being prioritized?
First off, look at us. Look at us. We didn't have puberty blockers.
No.
And I think you look pretty feminine. And I think I look pretty masculine.
Yeah. Not wrong. Why is everything, it really is everything nowadays is focused on how you look, what you say. Everything is so surface now. Why? And Gothic said something today that blew my mind on her video that I couldn't believe it. I watched her video when she dropped it earlier today, and I was like, holy crap. This is another video that I am so glad I watched. But because of all of the other videos that I've done, I've got no credibility. I don't know what I'm talking about, even though, hello, scientist. Play scientist, but still a scientist. Rewind. And
what's being prioritized?
First off, look at us. Look at us. We didn't have puberty blockers.
No.
And I think you look pretty feminine. And I think I look pretty masculine. Yeah. So we're proof of the fact that we didn't take puberty blockers. We might have struggled a little bit. I struggled. No, but here's what I don't understand. Struggle is not a bad thing. Now, I don't want some kid feeling suicidal and hating himself for the rest of his life. That's different. But a little struggle with maybe having to wear a binder or having to figure out, is this the right space? Well, back in the day when I had to do it, I had to live male. Right? So I had to live as Buck for a year.
Oh, I remember. I've read about that.
That's
in the past, you had to actually go live as a gender before you could medically transition to it.
That's right. So it's basically testing it out. It's a test drive. Do you get in a car and say, I'm buying it? No, you don't. You say, I want to test drive this car right now. I want to see how awesome it is. Actually, it's not the car I want. I want to go get a different car.
Could that have been boiled down any simpler right there? You don't... A car is a big purchase. Not as big as a house, but it's still a big purchase. And it's usually the very first big purchase for everybody in sorry, allergies. Ugh, my nose is itching. You don't just go and say, I want that car, buy it, and then drive it off the lot. That's not how that works. You're an idiot if you do it that way. That's why this, on the side, that's why this all online Carvana bullshit, you buy a car, you don't even have to drive it and all that. No. That was a rabbit trail. Sorry. But back on track. This is... I just... lost my train of thought because of the whole Carvana thing. Sorry.
Drive this car right now. I want to see how awesome it is. Actually, it's not the car I want. I want to go get a different car.
Wow.
So and I just changed my jacket. Instead of now I cut my breasts off, you're never coming back from that. You're not. You're not.
What I struggle with is not understanding how other people don't understand how morbid it is.
Yeah.
How insane it is that we think a 12-year-old... And they'll comment saying it's not happening with 12-year-olds. Yes, it is. It's absolutely happening.
Yep.
At my plastic surgery clinic, I haven't talked about this on my channel yet, but at my clinic where I got my surgeries, I recently took my friend who is an adult to go get her surgeries. I was there as being support. And the front desk lady came up to me and she recognized me from the Joe Rogan podcast, and she's like, love your podcast. And she was also saying, which is crazy because she knows my views, why would she say this? But she said that due to the recent law in Texas, that she had to make a bunch of phone calls to kids and tell them they couldn't get their surgeries. And I'm like, well, kids meaning what? And she's like, well, I had to call a 14-year-old today, but then we had to cancel his double mastectomy. And then Sydney Watson, a YouTuber, called this same clinic and said, well, what's the youngest age? And she recorded it. It's on camera. Them saying 12 is the earliest age they give double mastectomies to. Which, first of all, do you even have breasts?
You don't even have breasts.
I mean, what are they cutting off?
Yeah, what are they cutting off? And how is that affecting this child in the future?
Exactly.
Why would you ever want to cut a child's? They're not even done growing. Puberty is actually the most important thing a human being can go through. Human being, I don't care what gender or what sex you are. It doesn't matter. Human beings need puberty. Your brain grows during puberty. So now we're going to dumb everyone down?
Well, that's...
Exactly. Everything Buck just said, 100% agree with. What are they cutting off? There's stuff there. They just be removing cells or whatever. There's the actual fatty cells are there. But I digress. He is absolutely right. And for anybody that's saying, hey, you're saying he and she, well, that looks like a woman to me. That looks like a man to me. I'm going to call it how I see it. Woman, man. He, she, rather. If I'm wrong, who cares? It's none of my business anyway. Duh.
Your brain grows during puberty. So now we're going to dumb everyone down?
Well, that's the thing. What sane... Oh my God, Buck, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here, Buck.
It's so insane.
What sane human being thinks that a person will be healthy mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, pausing their development, canceling their development, really, by 12? You are trapping a child in a child mindset. That's right. And that's the kind of people we want running around? I don't think so.
Well, then I start to get all weird conspiracy, dude, right? And I'm like, is there like a bigger thing going on here? There has to be. There's a lot of money behind this because there's no way our tiny little teeny community can have as much power that it has to change laws to literally get our flag flown at the White House.
Yeah,
what is happening?
They wouldn't give us this power unless they were using it for something else. And
That's right.
Right? This, now, Timo, they're not wrong, right? It was, I mean, that's 100% common sense right there. Makes 100% sense to me.
They wouldn't give us this power unless they were using it for something else. And I firmly believe that because y'all have to remember also that, I mean, and you can attest to this even more so than I can, but I grew up in an era where I grew up getting jumped because I was, the feminine kid. Getting beat up. I had to learn how to fight. By 7 years old, I was swinging on high school kids. Like, it was crazy.
Wow.
And so I grew up in that era, and I'm like, how do we go from that to, if you don't support 12-year-olds removing their body parts, you are a bigot?
That's right.
And it's because I think whatever powers that be, and there are smarter people than me that can figure this out, whatever powers that be have recognized that they can give us this power and utilize it for something else, whether it's some form of eugenics, whether it's some form of, sterilizing the population. I don't know. People don't understand that you're sterilizing kids.
You're actually sterilizing kids. You're doing so much damage to a child that it just seems to me there has to be something more powerful involved here, which is what? Money. Money is always follow the money. It's an actual real thing. Money makes people do things. And Lupron, which I have doing some research on, they had an actual major lawsuit, like I think it was 10 or 15 years ago, where they had to pay $825 million because they were giving Lupron to doctors and asking them and paying the doctors to promote Lupron when they knew what it was.
So
was
unethical.
And here they are again, doing it again.
All that stuff. I didn't paint my nails, really even do that until, Mel, when was that? Like 9th grade? Something like that? I never bothered with that crap. I didn't care. It wasn't even in my it's not even in my rear view. It wasn't even in the freaking scope of my mind as to, oh, you don't do any girly stuff. I never even thought of it that way. I was just me. You don't think about stuff like that. When you're a kid, well, they do now because it's being forced on them. But just
Lupron.
Exactly,
when they
guys.
knew what it was.
So
was a
unethical.
and here they are again, doing it again. They're paying doctors. Do you know that Jack?
Oh, yeah.
Jack Turbin, I think his name is. He's a child doctor at Stanford, or not even a doctor, but I forgot exactly what his title is. But he's also very pro Lupron. And I did the research. He's getting paid by that company. He's gotten money from them to promote the product. He's actually a dangerous person. He's the guy who's really promoting puberty blockers for kids.
Well, then also look at the fact that just trans surgeries in general is becoming $1 billion industry.
That's right.
It's growing exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's exploding.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so what do? You expand your clientele. It's not just adults anymore. Now it's kids. And it's more kids than ever. And I'm sorry, there's no logical explanation for why gender dysphoria, which is something that was historically seen in young boys, has flipped. And you're seeing it in friend groups.
That's right.
You're seeing it in parents and children, which also makes me
It's disgusting.
That to me.
Yep.
I just did a video where I covered a YouTube vlog channel where the dad came out as trans, and a few months later the kid is now trans. He's 7.
Barf.
It's
not real. That's not real.
Of course not.
It's not real.
Of course not.
Thank you. Said it right there. It's not real. Lies. Propaganda. Bullshit. Cut the freaking crap, people. Obviously, it's not. I mean, it's an echo chamber in here right now. Everybody, we all kind of think we're all kind of on the same mind wavelength here. But for anybody that's watching this that might have came in from Twitter or something else, just, gonna mind fart, or brain fart, rather.
He's 7.
Barf.
It's
not real. That's not real.
Of course not.
It's not real.
Of course not. But I struggle with getting so frustrated that people can't see it. It's people lose all their common sense because the minute you shroud something as being a civil rights issue,
that's right.
Which in many respects, it once was.
It once was, but it's not anymore.
Exactly, because I'm under no illusion that life has been historically easy for people like us.
Of course
I'm
not.
under no illusion that the right wing is our friend. I'm under no illusion there are not genuine struggles for trans people.
That's right.
But we're setting that aside to talk about a more pressing issue, which is these kids.
That's right.
Sterilizing themselves.
Kids. I don't care. I'll be honest with you. I don't. Honestly,
care.
Blaire, I do not. If you make a choice and you make a mistake, oh well, dude, you should have done your research and you should have figured it out. I have no problem with that. That's their situation. They're going to figure it out. I will not let kids be put into our space and being told that if we don't do this, people are being lied to. Parents are being lied to. And I'll say it again. I'm a parent. If somebody said that to me, I would be like, if I wasn't trans, I would be like, what? Oh my God, I would freak out. What do you mean? What do I do? Well, here, give your kid these medicine and your kid's going to be all fine. Of course, a parent is going to do that. They feel very vulnerable at that point and they want to save their child. So everyone out there needs to understand what Blaire and I are saying is this. We care about these kids. We don't want the kids to be shoved in a space that they're not supposed to be in. That's why there's a group of 28,000 detransition. These are all young kids.
Yeah. I did a conference over the weekend where I was debating trans issues on a panel, and the opposition to me stated something, well, it's kind of like back in the day, if someone thought they were gay but found out they weren't, there's no harm done because they thought they were gay but they're not. I'm like, how can you compare the two?
You can't.
Being gay is one thing. Having irreversible surgeries and treatments is another.
That's a whole other space.
So he's right. The worst thing that happens if you think you're gay and you're not is, you thought you were gay for a year. The worst thing that happens if you think you're trans for even 6 months is you might have completely irreversible bodily damage.
Right.
And you likely will.
There's no comparison at all.
It's a different thing.
Totally different. That sexuality and gender are two different spaces. And our fight is different than the gay fight.
Yeah.
It is completely different. And you're right. So once a kid gets surgery and does all that, how are they going to come out of that? You don't think they're going to be depressed for the rest of their life? I deal with these kids. They cry to me all the time. I spend hours, on the phone with these kids because I feel on some level that it's my service to do that with these kids and they don't have anybody else to talk to. And I leave crying and how is this, actually make me cry right now because I just cannot believe that the world is letting this happen to young people who have everything in front of them right now, and they won't have it because now they're going to be turned onto, oh my God, now I'm carved up. I can't have babies. I can't have sex. And I'm just like, oh my God. Please wake up out there. Please. You have to hear what we're saying. We will be so screwed up. Our whole space, the trans world will be screwed up from this.
It's got to be a wrap on the trans.
It is. It's going to. Wrap. That's right.
And that's what's so harmful because I think back to when I first realized that I was trans, right? Mm-hmm. I realized that I had to do something because this gender dysphoria has followed me my entire life. It wasn't going away. I tried to ignore it. I tried to put it into other things. I tried to compartmentalize it. It went nowhere. And the day that I realized, I guess that means I have to transition. Yeah. It meant so much to me that I was able to have resources to do that. It meant so much to me that there was a path and that people like you set that path and I can, a roadmap vaguely that I could go down. And so this is all very real, the trans thing to us. Gender dysphoria, transitioning, being trans, it's a very real thing. And it's not this political football to us like it is to everyone else. To all these other people, it's this issue that you can talk about being right or wrong or fundraising for or whatever. For us, this is our lives. Right. And we're seeing our community being... People pretend as if we're fighting against trans people.
I know,
we're fighting against the community when we're sitting here screaming and begging for these people that are coming into the community to not fucking discredit it.
That's right.
Because it's real. And this is also where, a lot of far right people don't like me because they think the entire concept of being trans is something that is illegitimate or constructed. No, it's not. Gender dysphoria is long studied, long documented, and we can talk about what the best measures for that are. But that conversation now has to come after the kid stuff.
That's right.
And the politicization of it.
That's right.
We can't even get to what we can theoretically do about gender dysphoria in the future, possibly finding a cure.
Possibly.
No one even talks about that.
Nope, they don't.
Everyone talks about how transition is so faulty, which I agree that it is. It's not 100% thing. It's different for everyone, different results for everyone. Maybe someday there could be a cure so where you could take a medication and never have to have the need to transition.
That's right.
But if they don't talk about it or do anything it's got to be talked about. There's got to be someone somewhere that would be interested in trying to find a cure for that. Because that's got to hurt. Going through all of that surgery, look at the two of them. It's got to hurt. You're hurting yourself. And if there's people out there that are doing it that obviously shouldn't because they're kids and they think it's the cool thing to do, there's people that go out there and make stupid mistakes all the time because they don't do research. People just repost frigging memes because they don't do the research to look and see if it's actually true in the first place. So, wake up!
Yeah.
And then people say, that means you're erasing trans people. Well, actually, that means you're erasing gender dysphoria, which
no,
is
it means you want to... Actually, I want to take... I don't want to be this. No. I don't want to be trans. I'll tell you right now. I didn't want to be a transsexual man. I want to be a man. I want to be born... I would have given everything to be born a man. This is not This is just a fix for the problem that I have, my disorder. I don't care. Anybody out there doesn't want to think of it as a mental disorder. I do. It's my disorder, what I feel, how I needed to fix it. But I wish to God I was born a guy. So today, what we have is trans identity. And that's the difference with me and possibly you. I don't identify as a trans person. That was never on the table for me.
Yeah, I just am. It's not a... Yeah. I don't put it on my business card. It's literally just this is something that I do believe I was either born with or developed extremely early, prior to the point where I can remember anything, at the very least. Followed me throughout my life, and I sought to fix it the way I figured out how to do.
That's right.
But it's become this other thing now, and it's just there's going to be such a large pendulum effect. It's going to come down on people like you and I, and then they're going to be looking at us like, where were you when the 12-year-olds were getting their breasts cut off? And it's like, well, actually, you're talking about
actually, that's what I say all the time. You know how people always say, well, where was everybody when these little kids were getting... Right? Nobody was speaking up. Actually, we are speaking up. Right. And I say it all the time. I'm going to be on the right side when this actually explodes. And I'm going to be on the side that said, well, Buck, and Blaire were speaking up about this, but no one seems to. But they're listening, Blaire. They are. I really do see people coming around now and understanding. When you start putting children in a space of medical, these kids will be medicalized for the rest of their lives.
That's so important to state, because what people don't understand is like everyone that's not trans has no idea what transitioning really is,
right,
or what hormones really are, what they really do, what they don't do.
So I watched this.
We're on hormones forever.
Forever.
We're on hormones for the year of our transition story. Like, I feel like, because I did a video.
I didn't know this. What Blaire just said? You're on hormones forever. I am on medication right now that I am on forever. I don't want to take this medication, but if I don't, I could have a freaking relapse and I could end up paralyzed again. And so every 6 months, I have to take this medication. The one before it, I had to take it every month. And it was an infusion. Now I have to sit there for like 4 hours while this stuff's going in my vein. So, I mean, the people... It's again with the no research thing. It's again with people just being stupid and just going along and virtue signaling and just not doing research and just being plain old stupid. Blockheads. No, not even blockheads, because that's New Kids on the Block. They use blockheads, so I'm not going to say that. It's just ignorant. That's the word. Ignorant. Oh.
They really do what they don't do.
Shiloh!
We're on hormones forever.
Forever.
We're on hormones for the year of our transition story. Like, I feel like, because I did a video where I chronicled my surgeries and stuff, and I think people think that period was like my transition period and now I'm good.
That's right.
No, you're on medication forever. So again, what sane person thinks a 12-year-old can decide to be on medication forever? I don't fucking know.
They're not sane. That's the problem. Who's ever running this show, they're complete wingnut crazy people who want to... Here's the deal. I want to coexist in the world. Crazy. I want to be a part of the world. I transition to be a man and live in the world. These people want to dominate space. They want to take over women's space. They want to come in and say people with uteruses, people with whatever. That's not fair and that's not okay because people don't have uteruses. Women have uteruses. Trans men can have a uterus. But when we start wiping out language in order for trans people to feel comfortable in the world, that is insane, and I will not be part of that.
Boom! You guys, all of this. How is this video that Blaire and Buck put out, how is this not like, this should be showed in schools. This should be showed on Netflix. This should be everywhere. Should put it on a freaking billboard in Times Square. What is going on that this is not out there? And I only knew about this video because I started following Blaire because of a Tom McDonald video. Because she was in the video. And just like what was that? Who said that? Where is it? Oh yeah, Shiloh. That there was totally like all the people that just didn't even realize that Blaire was trans. They didn't even realize. And I mean, come on, people.
In order for trans people to feel comfortable in the world, that is insane, and I will not be part of that.
It used to be, it would kind of be like me, like moving to China and then being like, actually, y'all have to do things like America. It's like, no, trans people, and I don't understand why the virtue of like being humble is so gone now.
That's right.
But like trans people, I feel like do need to be humble enough in the sense of like, we are something that is rare. Yeah. We are something that's unique. We have to learn how to coexist in the world, not dominate the world and change it to our whims. That's because it doesn't even make sense.
Thank you, Blaire. Thank you.
To learn how to coexist in the world, not dominate the world and change it to our whims.
That's
because it doesn't even make sense.
No.
And it's going down.
That's right. And when you're honest, oh my God, people love you because you're honest. People love me because I'm honest. Most of the people that come to me, watch me, are all cisgender, which I actually even hate that word and I don't use it. But that being said, the people who come to me are not trans and not LGBT. They're like, oh, Buck, you're just a normal dude. That's all I want the world to see, that people like us just want to get back into the world, deal with our stuff, and move forward and become doctors, lawyers, YouTubers, whatever the heck we want to be.
Don't become a YouTuber. You don't want to be a YouTuber, trust me.
I love you.
Listen, this has been amazing, Buck. We're gonna film another thing that's really special
Right on.
here after this, but
Right on. Yeah.
you know, this conversation needs to be happening. Thank
That's
you so
right.
much for coming on.
Yeah.
I appreciate you a lot. Thank you for putting us out.
I
there.
appreciate
Make sure you subscribe to
both
this channel as well as my second channel. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Follow Buck on all his social media. It'll be on the screen here. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.
I mean, holy crap, you guys. I gotta figure out something to do somehow to frickin' switch that. That's gotta be one of those little switch thingies that I don't have the money for. But I just... So, I'm curious. You guys in chat, I mean, did all of you guys know that? I mean, I really do want to discuss this because Exactly, Raz. Saying a 3-year-old can choose their gender outside of a game of pretend is just madness. It is madness. It's insanity and it's stupidity. And these parents, what about, this one parent that made a video saying, "Oh, Dad, guess what? Your grandson's gay." They can't decide that shit. He was only 3. That when you saying that is what made me think about it. It's like, I gotta stop putting my arm on the freaking... Okay. I keep jiggling it. I can't wait until I get my desk back. I moved from a bigger house to a smaller house, and now I've got shit everywhere. But anyway, this video, Blaire, Buck, thank you. Thank you. I hate the word sis. The only way I use sis is when I'm talking to a fellow veteran or just a few of you guys in here. And that's the only time I say sis, and it's S-I-S, and that's it. Or if I'm talking to my foster sister. I was the foster, not her. This is just... I hope that people stayed around to listen to this or to go back. I'm going to actually put the link to the actual video in my I'm going to put the link to Blaire's video in the description. So if you don't want to listen to me yapping, then you can watch it yourself and just watch it, because this was so eye-opening for me. I mean, I can't thank the two of them enough that they put that video out, that they discussed that they did that. Because, well, first off, I didn't know, to get Buck's point of view, I didn't know any of that. And the fact of what he had to go through before he could actually do the transition, that he had to live as Buck for a year before they would do it, that's what's got to get... They got to go back to that. It's all about the money. Every single time. It's all comes down to money. And it's maddening. It drives me insane. And I know I put it on here that... Thank you, DK. Don't tell that joke. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. Comics, yes, to what you just said. I learned a lot about, you mentioned RuPaul. I learned a lot about trans and all of that I actually watched RuPaul's Drag Race. I watched it every season. I watched it because I wanted to know. I wanted to know how, why, what are they, and I realized, of course I realized at the time, it's all sensationalized. It's not real. But the video that we watched today, that was real. That is something that I needed to see a long time ago. And I think a lot of conservatives, a lot of people, period. This should be like broadcast across the world. It should, because I just can't, I can't say it enough that this needs to be watched. And I wanted to watch it with you guys because I wanted you guys to experience what I did. I hope you did. But I wanted you to get the information that I got out of this. Like, didn't know that about Buck. Didn't know, there's a lot I didn't know. I honestly did think the way Blaire said that, oh, you're on the hormones for XYZ long and then that's it. I didn't know that you're on the shit for a fucking ever. You're on it forever. Who would want to do that to their kid? Who would allow that to happen to their kid? I sure shit wouldn't. And I know Raz wouldn't either. And I have a feeling all of y'all in here, nobody. So, I hope you guys got something from this the way I did, because this was mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. I'm going to keep saying it because it's exactly what it was. Blew my mind. And I was hoping to discuss with you guys a little bit. Excuse me. Like what Iron Comics said about RuPaul. I learned a lot about trans community and the lingo and all of that. But now this, I'm saying about the sensationalized crap. Not the people that are just trying to go through life, living their life, how they're living their life, not putting it in front of people's faces, not making it a thing, not trying to make people take part in their self-image, and the garbage that's going on now, and even the garbage wasn't garbage. I'm not going to call it garbage, but even the stuff way back when all the RuPaul shows started and all of that. They were... Oi! Callie? He's barking again. Oi! Callie, you know what I'm going to do? I don't want to put the collar on you because it scares the crap out of you. It vibrates and it scares the crap out of her. You did, Shiloh? Oh, I've got to go see that. Buck was on You Are Here. I want to see that. Because I'd love to be able to sit down and just talk with the two of them. Just like they just did in that video, I would just like to be able to sit there and talk to them and learn and know things. So that I can say that... What? Would you quit? Don't wag your tail at me. Hold on. It's not going to stop. Go in the other room. Go on. Go in the kitchen. Go in the kitchen and bark out the window. Her little tail is just doing this. Yes, she walked away. Woohoo! Okay, so I want to look and see. Some of what's going on in chat. I don't know if you guys can still hear her really loud. Comics. You're right. That is something that pisses me off so much. And this... Oh, there we go. Yeah, go me. Yawn. It's just... This video. I am so glad I watched this video. I am so glad that Tom MacDonald had Blaire in his video. Because if he didn't, I never would have gone down this little trail and gotten to where we are right now after listening to this. I want to thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all's support so very much. Oh, Shiloh. Family drama is the best. Sometimes. Unless it... Well, no. It is if it's somebody else's and they're telling stories, but not when it's your own family. It's only when you're listening to somebody else's that it's juicy and the best. But... Papa, I'm getting ready to go anyway because I've got to eat something. I was just ready to roll out of here and say, I started saying, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys supporting me. Eventually, maybe something will come out of this and maybe people will actually watch this video. I'm going to have to go and put the link to Blaire's video in the description so that people can go watch it. And good night, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I love you guys very much. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you next week.